With recent moves from TKO, it is pretty evident now the direction and the end game for TKO, more specifically the fate of WWE. SmackDown's number is in, Raw's number is in. One show actually went up a little, the other, we'll talk about it. And it was NXT Homecoming this past Tuesday night, an absolute ratings grab for World Wrestling Entertainment and their NXT brand. Of course, WWE has been desperately trying to get away from AEW Dynamite numbers, to which WWE feels are still too close together. And if you add in the Max numbers, that is the case. So the past several weeks, WWE has been sending main roster talent to Tuesday nights. This past Tuesday, a complete infestation of main roster talent under the guise, the heading of Homecoming, back at Full Sail. So a lot of NXT stars from the past, or those that went on to graduate to the main roster, still don't know if that's a promotion or a demotion. But it was one name that made it all about himself when this show kicked off. Can you guess who? You think he'd be locked in his office because it's WrestlePalooza this week, so all of his energy and effort and time would be on these shows. The go-home show, SmackDown to WrestlePalooza on Friday night, and then Saturday, WrestlePalooza. But no, we're talking about the chief of creative and content, head of talent relations. He cannot be bothered to be in his office for more than 3 minutes. No. He's got to hear his music blast off, and he's got to ask, "Are you ready?" You couldn't have done that in a video mess because you have a lot of work that you should be doing. Because the company is creatively bankrupt. You have a main event at WrestlePalooza, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, that doesn't even have a story attached to it. Brock came back out of nowhere, F5 John Cena twice, randomly shows up to SmackDown to F5 John Cena's brother, Ron Cena, who's just R-Truth. Cena randomly shows up to Monday Night Raw. No Brock Lesnar, no reason why they're even fighting, just reliving old football glory days from Springfield College. That's the story of Brock and Cena, and that's your main event. We don't even have a reason why they're fighting. And there's Helmsley at Homecoming. No video message. Hey, thanks for building this together. Are you ready? No. You got to get on a jet. You got to do the hours of travel. You got to hear the music blast. You got to stand center of the ring. You have to be the star because Helmsley is the face of WWE for some stupid reason. He can't stand to have anybody else front and center. We'll talk about it. Homecoming. NXT. It's all coming up, but I want to spend the rest of this cold open teaser opening monologue with an amplified hot take, if you don't mind. Swig a coffee. And I'm going to give you a quote from Dana White. This will only take a minute. It's a classic BC hot take. A quote from Dana White about how he feels about WWE. And there's nothing wrong with this take. He's giving you his candid honesty. And I respect that. That's his view. That's his take on WWE. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm going to read you the quote, which there's nothing wrong with it. And then I'm going to give you my hot take just to make sure that we're all, which we should be on this subject, we're all on the same page. Dana White says the following: I'm not a fan of WWE. I don't watch it. I'm into fighting. I respect their athleticism, and it's impressive what these guys do, but it's just not my thing. Blunt honesty. Gotta respect it, right? Didn't say anything bad. He was asked. Didn't even try to sugarcoat it. I'm not a fan of WWE. Probably ways he could have worded that better, though, because he is a direct partner to it. And he is going to be up there, I should be saying, with TKO, COO, Mark Shapiro, and President Nick Khan, and Ari, and management of Silver Lake. That's who Dana White should be, but he's up there with Hunter Hearst Helmsley for some reason. Helmsley's title is Chief of Content and Creative, Head of Talent Relations, but for some reason, There's Hunter Hearst Helmsley as the spokesperson, the ambassador. Helmsley is acting like the president and the COO. So who's running creative? Are you shocked that WWE sucks creatively these days? Are you shocked? Because I'm not. Helmsley's doing everything but his actual job. We'll get some more of that in a minute. Let's stick with Dana White. Dana White is up there a lot with the WWE top executives. So could he have worded that a little better? Maybe, but this is just blunt, candid, honestly. I'm not a fan of WWE. I don't watch it. These are quotes. I don't watch it. I'm not a fan of it. It's not my thing. I like fighting. I respect their athleticism. It's impressive what they do, but he's telling you it's not fighting. I'm all into the real stuff. I'm not even a fan of WWE. Cool. That's cool. I'm legit. Blunt honesty, you gotta respect that. Cool. Now here's my hot take. It's very short and simple. Now stay away. That's it. No cameos on Raw, SmackDown, or PLEs. Right? I think we all can agree. No more cameos. We don't need to see Dana White during matchups, right? Or in between matchups. On Netflix, oh, we're going through all these celebrities. Oh, there's Dana White in the front row. We don't need that anymore. Das Boot from anything Dana White on television. Your respect is not needed. You done told us how you feel about it? Cool. No need to beat a dead horse at this point. We got it. You don't have to keep repeating it. And we don't need to see your face on WWE programming because we'll know how forced it is at that point. This dude just told you, I'm not a fan of WWE. I don't watch it. It's not my thing. So if they try to parade or pimp this guy out in a front row of a show, that is pathetic. It's unacceptable. Helmsley should believe it's pathetic. Let's put a guy front row and give him the camera time and act like he's this big deal in the wrestling world when he just told you he's not a fan of it. He doesn't watch it. It's not his thing. And he prefers real fighting. Cool. Then stay the fuck away. How's that sound? We all can agree on that, right? It's time in this industry, in the walls of World Wrestling Entertainment, but also AEW. I don't care if it's a local bingo hall. If somebody doesn't respect the industry, or if somebody simply doesn't watch the product, stay the fuck out. Deal? I think that should be universal within the community. I am so tired of all these celebrities coming in, all these D-listers that I've never even heard of, a lot of them, or some with name value, who are coming in to smile on camera, and we're supposed to go, wow, cool, they're at WWE. And then they turn around and they do an interview, and they're like, yeah, I don't even know what I was there for. I mean, it's a good time, but I don't follow any of that. I'm not a fan of WWE. Cool. Stay away. There's no reason going forward that Dana White should be on anything to do with WWE television. We all can agree on that. We have to stop letting people in to what we love that do not appreciate or watch or follow along with it. We let everybody in just because, especially WWE, they feel this need to be accepted. This need to be accepted in Hollywood. This need to be accepted outside of pro wrestling. They have to always... They seek validation. It's like this wrestling thing is just not good enough. It's more than enough, or at least it should be. You don't have to coddle Pat McAfee and put all these big events in Indianapolis and cater around Pat McAfee's schedule. fly out to do his show when all of his other guests, most of them, just do it via Zoom. I see Pat McAfee guests on their phone as a guest. You know what Helmsley does? Jumps on the company jet and flies down there. A, because he wants to play superstar. So he wants to be right there in studio. But B, he gets to chum it up with Pat McAfee, a big name outside of wrestling. Jelly Roll comes in for a storyline. I'll use that loosely for SummerSlam. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul. Jelly Roll does a couple of months in WWE. You know who's got the most photos with Jelly Roll? You know who I saw with Jelly Roll the most out of anybody? Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Not even the match agents, the producers, the people Jelly Roll was working with. No, Helmsley, a lot of them, they're just smiling. Jelly Roll went on to tell us some funny stories about Helmsley just kind of texting him a bunch of memes and nonsense. That's what Helmsley's doing, the memes. You're wondering why you're not getting creative. Logan Paul always tells stories about how Helmsley is just texting him a lot of BS throughout the days. What? He has nothing better to do? Is he a 12-year-old kid? Non-stop validation seeking from World Wrestling Entertainment has to stop. I'm done with these cameos. Half these people, you can tell they have no idea what they're doing. They're not fans. You can tell. They put them on camera. They're screaming like wild hyenas. You could just tell like they're being forced. Like Netflix planted them there and said, listen, we're just going to run your name and put the show that you're on, and that'll be some exposure. You can tell they're not wrestling fans. They start grabbing the buddy that they're with and doing knuck'em sandwiches like it's a wrestling move. Or they try to drop a stunt. I mean, like, what are you? You're being a goof. It's like a mockery of pro wrestling. All these celebrities that are coming in, all these people we put front and center. How many times have you seen Dana White on WWE television? A bunch. I knew he wasn't big on WWE, but damn, to be this outright about it and always parade your smile out there to promote your next big fight, screw that shit. We don't need it. Promote it elsewhere. Again, that's his honest, candid take. That's cool. That's how he feels about WWE. Totally fine. Now I think we all can agree, then stay away. If you don't follow it, if you're not a fan of it, that's your words, you're not into it at all, then don't be there. Thank you, guys. Had to drop an amplified hot take because I'm just done with all these. I don't care if it's Travis Scott. I don't care if it's a Dana White or anything and anyone in between. I'm done with celebrities or athletes thinking that WWE is always just a backup plan. Oh, when I'm done with my career here, I can go to WWE. Oh, to make a quick buck and put my name in the headlines, I'll go over to WWE. And they'll take everybody. If you have any name worth outside of pro wrestling, they will take you. If you're any type of a celebrity, they will invite you in with open arms. They'll have you taking swings on Cody Rhodes. They'll put you in matches. They'll put you front and center. They'll promote your shows. You can take all the time. You can take time from the wrestlers themselves that time was going to be spent in their matches. We'll put a celebrity up on the screen. Just please come to Raw so we can be validated. I'm done with it. And then they turn around and they act like they're too cool for school. I don't watch it at all. I'm not even a fan. I'm into real fighting, he says. Again, respect it. That's his take. But some of that, not needed. We get you're into real. We know what you do, bro. You don't have to take backhanded digs. We get it. You're too cool for school. In the wrestling audience, that's the nerd herd over there. That's fine. Stay away. Awesome. Now let's get into the actual show. That was just... Did I go a little long on that, Kev? Maybe I did. I guess I went a little bit long on that. Well, here's the thing. The coffee is rolling. BC is fully amplified, and I know you guys are too. So if Dana White's going to be candid about it, BC's retort is going to be pretty damn candid. All right, before I get into the whole TKO thing, and this is wild... you should not be shocked. BC has been I've been conditioning you guys to see this all along through common sense, logic, and facts. Just follow it, connecting all the dots. It's pretty clear what is happening. And TKO's latest moves amplifies that in that discussion. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Also, SmackDown and Raw's rating. It's all coming up, amped up, the 17th of September, Wednesday, correct? Is it? Yes, Wednesday, the 17th of the year 2025. But I want to talk about NXT Homecoming first. Did I see the show? Absolutely not. NXT is just, it's not watchable to me because it's just all over the place. I never know what is happening with NXT. And sadly, it's probably it might be the best show out of all three, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. I'm not sure. I just know that the NXT females are incredible. I feel like most of the females in NXT are legit superstars already. And what I mean is, right now on the main roster, I would love to be seeing Jada Parker. I would love to be seeing Lola Vice. One of my favorites, obviously, Kalani Jordan Grace. You got Mariah May over there. What are they calling her? Blake Monroe. And the list goes on and on. JC Jane doesn't get enough credit. I feel like when you think about all the females past and current, JC Jane gets lost in the shuffle. But if you watch, especially her last several matches, JC Jane can rock, man. When she first got that title, I kind of rolled my eyes like, really, dude? Is this what we're doing? I understand she's a transitional champion, or we're supposed to be at the jump, but is this really what we're doing? But it didn't take long to go, hey, okay. I got to take a second look over to JC Jane. So the females, man, it seems like a never-ending supply of amazing female talent. The dudes, that's where the show just loses me, right? They try to push Miles, what's his name? Miles Austin? Miles Bourne? I call him the bootleg Randy Orton. They try to push, he was in a main event with Oba Femi not long ago. Was that Battleground? Maybe it was many months ago. I don't know, but that was just like, what are we doing? Bootleg Randy Orton's in your main event? You have the Dark State, which was absolute. I don't care what anybody says. I saw it with my own eyes. This is a bootleg Retribution. The problem was Retribution sucked. We never wanted to see another Retribution angle ever again. And they bring in Dark State. I don't care. BC, they're talented though, man. They have a bright future. Hopefully. The Dark State is absolutely a horrendous gimmick. It's horrendous. It's bootleg Retribution. Bottom line, I've seen it. I've seen enough. Oba's good, but am I ever interested in what Oba's doing? I'm just not. The Ricky Saints, formerly known as Ricky Starks, that could be fun. But I'm not there with Oba yet. It's just the dudes bring that show down tremendously many times. And there's talent there, obviously. Lexis King, as I said, Ricky Saints is down there. Ethan Page. You put Chelsea with Ethan. I love that combo. So it's got its bright spots. But they pale in comparison to the females. So anyway, no, I don't watch NXT consistently. I'm way too busy on Tuesday nights anyway. I got to go out of my way to catch it if I would like to. And Homecoming just didn't interest me. They just started naming all of these wild matches that are just main roster. I think Mello was like in a tag match with like DIY. It was like a complete main roster tag match. They brought in Alexa Bliss and Charlie Flair to defend tag titles. Shayna Baszler came back. But we already know Shayna is a shell of what she once was. WWE creative management knocked her down so many pegs, she probably lost her confidence. She got banged up in her knees, so she lost a few steps there, gained a little bit of weight. Before you know it, Shayna Baszler, it looked like she didn't even care anymore. And then a few months after we started saying that, sure enough, WWE just cut ties. It was good to see Shayna. But man, if Shayna ever comes back to wrestling, period, I hope she has that confidence. I hope she gained a few of those steps back, because it always sucks to see when these wrestlers, they get a little banged up, they lose their confidence, their self-esteem is hit, management has beat them down, and you can just see it in the ring. They're a shell of what they once were. If Shayna ever comes back, AEW, WWE, NXT, whichever, man, I hope it's a little bit of that old school Shayna. You're never going to get the original Shayna. That's done. Too many years have passed. Mileage on the legs. More beat up. The confidence has been shook. But if we get a little bit back, I'm cool with it. So it was good to see Shayna. But no, none of this was enough for BC to go, man, this is awesome. You know, it's a complete ratings shot. They're really trying to get away from AEW Dynamite. And on one hand, I say, good. By any means necessary, do that. On the other hand, it's like, damn, every time they want to do something like this, the only way they feel they can do it is if they throw a bunch of main roster talent on. There's going to come a time where you have to stop doing that. You have to trust in your show and what you're doing. And on the same night, the ladies and the men both have to have the utmost of creativity. Because you can't keep doing these ploys. Rhea Ripley was on this show with Lyra Valkyria and Stephanie V in a 6-woman tag. Again, JC's rocking it out. But it all led to the biggest moment, right? Starting this whole thing off. Hunter Hearst Helmsley's music blast through Full Sail. Sure enough, there he is. Shoulders out, and he's looking all around. He gets in the ring. He says, we created something special, blah, blah, blah. Are you ready? And all the good stuff, right? All the fluffy stuff. Well, BC, I mean, not a big deal. I mean, he was such a big part of NXT. Some would say that he really founded it, which is obviously not true. That's why I say some say that, the ones that don't understand. Dusty Rhodes was NXT. I really wish people understood what Dusty Rhodes did for WWE NXT. He was given the task to make that from nothing into something, and he did it. Working on all the promos, working with all the talent in the ring. Dusty Rhodes. And William Regal was irreplaceable around that time. William Regal was the brains behind it as well. And then Hunter Hearst Helmsley got to come fly in on the company jet once a week on Vince McMahon's dime. He got to play Vince McMahon for a smaller brand. And he had the brain power of the Dusty Rhodeses, the William Regals, and so many others. And he got to he took all the credit. Again, there's so many fans that think black and gold and just go, wow, Hunter Helmsley's a creative genius. They have no idea who the real brain power was in NXT. They don't understand that Helmsley was flying into Orlando once a week. Helmsley was playing Vince McMahon and getting all the credit. Sound familiar? Still does to this day. He puts in no effort creatively at all. Doesn't produce jack shit. Not even at a lot of these shows, Raws and SmackDowns. But whose name is right there when it ends, right? Producer, executive producer, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon. Yep. Takes all the credit. Does the least amount of work. Seems about right. That's Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a nutshell. His whole career. That's Helmsley. So you say, all right, well, he wants to be a part of it because it's homecoming. Yes, another event that is going to circle around Helmsley. Unreal, the show Unreal. This is a show starring. The lead star is Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He found a way, even though he can't wrestle anymore, to be the lead in a new show that exposes the show that he once did, but he can't do anymore. So now he found a way to still be the superstar. I was the star when it was all about the wrestling. Now I'm the star of the show that exposes the wrestling. As long as he can always find a way to make it about him. The Hall of Fame this past year. Well, shucks. Is it going to be me? Does the Hall of Fame revolve around me? Could you imagine Vince McMahon ever accepting the Hall of Fame? He wouldn't do it. Not while he's still ticking. Vince McMahon wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. There's business to be conducted. There's others that are going in. It's not going to be about him. Helmsley? Oh, shucks, Taker. Shucks, Michaels. Shucks, Steph. Gee golly whiz. All right, I'll be the headliner. NXT Homecoming? I can't just give a video response message on the Tron. I'm going to fly into Orlando. We need to play the music. I got to strut down there slowly and say, oh, he wants to leave a little message to the NXT crowd. Cool. That's cool. If he had nothing to do, or his job title was ambassador, spokesperson, if he's the president of WWE or TKO, cool. You wanted to take a night and fly down the Full Sail. That's not his job. I want everyone to understand why so many of us have an issue with this. Because they are charging extraordinarily absurd amounts of money now for tickets to watch it at home. And acting like it's a good thing for us, by the way. A celebration. We're going to ESPN where you now pay 3 times what you used to pay for a PLE. You now have to have 5 different streaming services to watch all of our shows. Yeah, more money. And they're giving us less and less in return. This guy's title, guys, his job is literally Chief of Content, COC. That's a real thing. That's his job, Chief of Content. His subsidiaries are Chief of Creative and Chief of, or should I say, Head of Talent Relations. He's wearing many hats right now. So he has, every one of those jobs is a 24/7 job. He, for some reason, made himself all 3, and he does none of it. Nothing. He literally just gets on jets and goes to podcasts, shows, events, press conferences. I mean, we saw it all this week. WrestlePalooza's coming up. This guy's not in his office at all. He's headlining the Saudi Arabia press conference. Why? Why would the Chief of Content and Creative be the headliner? Where's Mark Shapiro? Where's Nick Khan? Where's the other execs? Where's Ari? They should be doing that with the excellence of Saudi. Is that what they call him? The excellence? The majestic? I really don't. I don't know. The majesty? Why is Hunter Hearst? It's not like he's got a job to do. Oh, right. Yes, he does. Many of them. The Pat McAfee show. Most of Pat's guests, they zoom in. They're up on the big screen of Pat McAfee, and that's how they do the show. A lot of them are traveling to their job while talking to Pat, and it's all via phone. Helmsley flies in. Helmsley goes to the show as if he's got nothing better to do. Homecoming. You send in a video. That's all you had to do, a video. Hunter Helmsley has a message, right? And it makes you look better, too. You're in your office. It's like, here's a wild concept. You're doing work. What a concept. You're thinking about Palooza. You're thinking about the SmackDown Go Home show. You're in your office. Have a couple of computers up. You should be having notepads all around. I mean, maybe other execs are in there as if you're really bouncing off. No. This guy's music is blasting, and it's all about Hunter Helmsley. Doesn't matter what after that, right? Everybody will be told, Helmsley showed up. Helmsley's kicking off the show. Helmsley. That's just this week. I just gave you a bunch of examples of how he was everywhere but the office. Who's running creative? Are you going to be like, well, basically, during traveling and everything, he's being creative. I mean, he's texting probably the writers, and I think it's okay, BC. He's juggling it. No, he's not. Juggling it? He just talks about the hours upon hours that he reserves for the family time, just went on a vacation, and is doing everything other than the job at hand, which is giving us the best possible product. If you're not going to do your job, just push aside. He has enough money to go on vacations for the next 20 years nonstop. Awesome. I'm not even player hating. That is amazing. Him and his family for the next 20 years can go on vacation after vacation. That's awesome. I'm so happy for him. Go do that. Go do that so people that will do the actual job, Chief of Content, Chief of Creative, and Head of Talent Relations, people can do that correctly. The business will prosper even more than it is now financially, because that's the only way it's prospering, because Saudi Arabia and ESPN and other conglomerates are willing to give this money. Eventually, that's going to run its course, just like Fox told them to F off, and NBC Universal is about to do such. Put people in there that are willing to do the job, willing to go to work into the office and stay there until they feel that we're going to get the best possible product. Because Helmsley's not up for the task. He calls himself all of these things and he just wants to play superstar. We talk about this topic and subject ad nauseum, because he's constantly showing up and being superstar. It's a real problem in WWE because we're not getting any good creative. The product sucks. Most of us will agree. I told you, look at the main event. Look at WrestlePalooza's main event. There's no storyline for Cena and Brock. None. We don't even have a reason. It's Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar all over again from a couple years ago when he attacked Cody for no reason. 3 months, they had a series of matches, ended at SummerSlam where they just hugged each other. All the beatings that Brock gave Cody and they just hug it out. Cody didn't care. We're friends. To this day, no reason was ever given. We just got through. Helmsley couldn't be bothered to give us a reason. John Cena and Brock, Helmsley couldn't be bothered to give us a reason. But he's got time to jump on the company jet and go to Homecoming so he can hear his music, stand in the middle of the ring, and remind everybody that he is NXT. Oh, I'm sorry. Was it we are NXT? No. It's Helmsley. That's what he wants you to believe. And so many do. Nobody wants to remember or doesn't even know about Dusty Rhodes' part in this and William Regal and so many others who were there every day doing their jobs. Helmsley would fly in on the company jet once a week. And all of a sudden, he is NXT. Oh, by the way, he never put a dime into that company, into that brand. He was always on his father-in-law, Vincent Kennedy McMahon's wallet. He was always using Vince's money. And then would fly in and take control of everything that Dusty and Regal and so many others laid down. That is wild. So you say, well, BC, you see the video package. Yeah, that's all you had to do. Like Derek Jeter. It's classic Derek Jeter. Every time the Yankees, and they have a lot of celebrations at Yankee Stadium. And Jeter is a big part of those celebrations. A lot of them. Championship celebrations, reunions, things like that. Old Timers Day. We just had one recently for the 2000 World Series champion Yankees, and they did a 25-year anniversary. Jeter, a big part of that, obviously. Jeter sent in a video message. Why? Because he is extremely busy. He did this when he was with the Marlins. So you don't want to just show up the Yankees, right? So you want everyone to know that you are working hard with the Marlins. And he did it 2000, right? Family stuff and business reasons were given. So a mixture of two. So he could not show up to Yankee Stadium. But a lot of people did. It was a homecoming of sorts for the 2000 team. But then the public address speaker said, everybody pay, look up to the, whatever you call it. We'll call it the Tron. Everybody please look up at the Tron. A very special message from Yankee shortstop of the 2000 World Series team, Derek Jeter. And there's Jeter. And he's delivering a nice message. Hey, everybody, would have been nice to be there. And he just went on and on about the team and how special it was and thanking the fans. And it was awesome. And everybody clapped when the message board faded to black. Thank you, Derek. Chants and cheers. But Derek Jeter's busy. He's busy. Helmsley should be busy right now. There should be no shortage of work with the Palooza in just 3 nights from right now. By the time you guys are seeing this, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days. There's no shortage of work. Where is this guy finding the time to fly in the Pat McAfee? Go to the boxing. Go to Alvarez Crawford. Where is he able to find the time to go to an event like that, fly into talk shows, do the press conference, fly out to NXT? Who's doing the work? And then you wonder why Raw is so pathetic. Nothing is happening in the mid-card. Penta is in this stupid thing with New Day and Grayson Waller nonstop every week, making you want to put your dome piece to a brick wall or many brick walls. How many Americanos do we need to see? The cappuccino, grande cappuccino, grande frappuccino, grande cappuccino, grande espresso, grande macchiato is next. And who's their big feud? It's Dragon Ball Z Lee. Whoa, this is amazing. AJ Styles runs out there every now and again and looks like a goofball in all of this. That's your mid-card, folks. How's your main event scene, huh? Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Big Jim. You mean Mid Jim? like mid-card Jim, medium-sized Jim Uso. That's your main event this past week. And LA Knight trying to hold it down as the star. Braun Breaker maybe one day will be. That's your main event. Your main event. Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, LA Knight, and Big Jim, medium-sized Jim Uso. You don't see a problem with this? John Cena starting the show and he's talking about his football days in spring. He talked about going to school in Springfield, Massachusetts and playing football more than he did Brock Lesnar. Because we still don't have a reason. We found out what position he played in college, what he did, what it consists of. we still don't have nothing on Brock. That was Monday Night Raw. And you sit back and you wonder why so many fans are upset with this product because we know it should be better. And then you see this guy just flaunted all around. Do you know how long it takes for all the traveling and to do all this and to set it up and know what you have to do and say? That's a full-time job because then he also spends the time with the fam, gets a good 8 hours of sleep. I mean, these are from his words. Goes on vacations. So he's telling you, we're seeing that there is zero time to put any effort into this company creatively. And then you see the shows and you're like, yep, makes sense. No creative. I'm tired of ranting about this nonstop. But he remains in that position and we remain getting deplorable television. Unacceptably pathetic creative. Non-existent creative. So if that's going to stay the same, we have to stay calling it out. He has to go to a different job position. He can stay with TKO. That's great. Call him the president of WWE. That's fine. Give him a pay raise. Awesome. But somebody else has to be head of creative content and talent relations. He's not doing the job. The product sucks more and more, and they're taking more and more of our money. This is wrong, man. Everybody should be furious. This is something we grew up loving, and we don't want to just jump off ship right now. We don't want to say, all right, I'm done. We don't want to do that. So no, I didn't see the show, but I was not shocked when the biggest clip being shown. It was not all the talent that was sent there Tuesday night. The biggest clip being shown was Paul Levesque McMahon in the middle of the ring. Triple H returns to NXT. Wow, somehow this became all about Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Why would it not have been? Why would it not have been? You know what it should have been? Him on his little video message. I'm fine with that, right? Address the crowd in Stamford, Connecticut at headquarters where you're doing your actual job. And then Dusty Rhodes' music hits and William Regal comes out to deliver a multi-minute speech. Regal was there, by the way. Some mentions of Dusty, I believe, right? That's what I heard. I didn't actually see it, but Dusty's music, I mean, it should have been heavy on Dusty and Regal. Heavy on them. That's not what's being talked about. But this is WWE these days, man. It's Hunter Hearst Helmsley's playground. Everyone says Tony Khan just plays with action figures, basically. He's like a kid, and all the real wrestlers are just action figures. Well, guess what? It ain't much better in WWE because Helmsley is just playing as well. He's playing superstar. He's playing the role of Vince McMahon, but he doesn't want to do Vince McMahon shit. I'll give you the ratings real quick, and then we'll talk. That was supposed to be a shorter story than what it ended up. But like I said, there was a lot of coffee flowing this morning already. So you know, when the coffee's flowing, when BC's amped up already, expect the unexpected when we rock out on Amped Up, man. It could be a half an hour show. It could be, but it most likely is going over an hour. SmackDown's rating this week, a 1.3. That is down from 1.5. So the blue brand, it's just people don't want to spend Friday nights watching this anymore. It's that bad. So for everybody that was just like, oh man, a few weeks ago when it was a 1.1, well, BC, that's a Labor Day. It was a holiday weekend. And on top of that, it was a slightly taped show because they were still Paris or something like that. What's the excuse now? You're at a 1-3. And you could say that AJ Lee is the only reason you got up to a 1-3. If you take AJ Lee out of the equation, because if you guys haven't been following along with the numbers, AJ is giving them all the boost that she can possibly give. The problem is the rest of the product sucks. We just talked about on the Monday Night Raw review, the only good part of the show was AJ, Becky, Seth, and CM. If you take AJ off of this, you're back to a 1-1. That's what I tried to tell you. This has nothing to do with a holiday anymore or a tape show. The fact that you're already so low and can't even afford to take the hit, and WWE knows this. Why do you think they're on at 7 p.m. now for Monday Night Raw, a whole hour earlier? It's because they don't want to go head-to-head with NFL Monday Night Football anymore. And the least amount of time that they're doing that, the better they feel. So what does that mean? They have completely tapped out to the NFL. They're not even bothering competing anymore. They want to go on a different... If it was up to them, they'd start at 6 p.m. But they know people, it's hard for them getting out of work at 5, trying to get to the arena for 5:30 for a 6 o'clock show. They want nothing to do with NFL. They're hiding in a corner. They're in a ball in a corner at this point. They're done. They're tapped out. So it doesn't matter because they cannot take the hit. The Raw number is so low. Globally on Netflix, a 2.4 to a 2.6 usually. That's their average. Remember, on week 1, they started near 6 mil. They're already at a 2.4 to a 2.6. Come on, man. Domestically, US 1.2 tops. So they know with football now, they could literally see globally 2.2, 2.3. Domestically, they could actually hit 1 million flat by the end of football season. They know this. SmackDown's not far from that. They're at a 1.3. They just lost another 200,000. AJ Lee is probably the only thing keeping them from that 1.1. Now, over on Monday Night Raw, they went up from a 2.4 to a 2.6. Now, again, this is a full week behind because they count a full 7-day period. So, for instance, this past Monday, they're still counting those numbers all the way through Sunday. So that's what I mean, guys. That's what makes this more depressing and more bad. This isn't just one night of viewership. Because they're on Netflix, it's a whole week's worth. And it's this tragically down. But 2.4 to 2.6, of course. So again, this is a week ago's Monday Night Raw, not this week. That's when AJ really laid down that challenge to Becky Lynch. And everybody was anticipating AJ Lee's first promo. First time on Raw in 10 years. Yeah, I fully believe that's why you saw a 200,000 viewer jump, a 2.6 from a 2.4. I absolutely am putting all that on AJ Lee because all the evidence shows that without AJ Lee, they're at a 2.4 tops. Tops. Nobody cares about the Palooza. Nobody cares about a go-home show to a PLE. Nobody cares about the post-show of a PLE anymore. And that's sad. Those used to be the big rating grabbers. Right before the PLE, the pay-per-view, and right after the pay-per-view. Nobody cares anymore. But AJ Lee can't do it all by herself. Helmsley has to help out. And what is this dude doing? Too busy playing superstar. So that's your numbers for Raw and SmackDown. I don't have anything yet as of this recording for NXT. And of course, AEW will hit the airwaves tonight. So check this out. TKO has repurchased $1 billion in stock. This is part of a $2 billion buyback plan. $2 billion buyback plan in stock, and they already purchased $1 billion back. This, guys, gives them the upper hand and amplified leverage should they decide to take the company private. Why would they do that, BC? Think about it. When you're private, you can do the wildest things like, sell for a conglomerate amount of cash to an entity like, Saudi Arabia. TKO just this month began their new boxing partnership with Saudi. You think it stops there with boxing? Use your logic. Use your common sense. The Royal Rumble in 4 months is in Saudi. The Royal Rumble is in Saudi. WrestleMania in 2027. About a year and a half away. WrestleMania is in Saudi. And for an outrageous amount of money, we are hearing. Because it seems like Saudi's cash flow it's unlimited. They just brought Tom Brady out of retirement to do some flag football over there. That's a real thing. Tom Brady will be throwing the football again in Saudi. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. And now TKO securing all of their stock back, or every amount that they possibly can. They even had a $1 million+ buyback from Vince McMahon earlier this year. You guys remember that? What am I getting at? If you're a veteran to this channel, you already know. If you're newer to this channel, I'll be very blunt about it. Saudi will own WWE. It is clear that TKO is just about the bottom dollar. It's just about the business financially. It's not about what can we do for the consumer long term so that we can tap into every revenue stream the right way long term. Because we all know if you do that, your business is going to most likely last. When you liquidate from the jump and you just start raising all these prices, you're not hearing the fan concerns. In fact, the guys at the top are telling the fans to fuck off. They're not even real fans if they don't like it. Just sit over there in the corner and appreciate everything we're doing. In fact, we're going to have a television show where Helmsley said the whole reason for Unreal is so you guys see how hard they work and you can appreciate them more. They need the validation that you guys respect what they're doing. Sit over there in the corner, appreciate, respect, love everything they're dishing out. And when they're done, come back with your wooden bowl, wooden spoon, and say, please, sir, can I have some more? When a company liquidates like this and pays no attention to the concerns or any feedback from the fans, and they're just laser focused on grabbing every penny imaginable, that is short-circuited. That is a temporary plan. And I've said this in the past, but I mean it now more than ever. It is damn clear that TKO, Silver Lake, it is clear that they have no intention on holding on to these brands or this company long term. I would not be shocked if they're already in discussions to sell to Saudi. Because every move that I'm seeing is telling me they're already in discussions to sell to Saudi. Everything TKO is doing is screaming they don't care about us. They don't care about the fans. This is strictly bottom dollar business, and for a sole purpose of making as much money as they possibly can very quickly, turning around selling, making boatloads more, and riding off into the sunset. I think Helmsley knows he's only got a couple years left doing this. This part of his career, 2 years tops. He's already cashing out. You see that. Ari Emanuel, Shapiro, they don't care about pro wrestling. This reminds me of WCW. And when Time Warner just could not stand pro wrestling, couldn't stand WCW, wanted it off Turner Sports. When the people that are heading your company don't want the company, that's not good. I never thought I'd see the day where WWE would be in a position where the people at the top don't care about it, but they don't. Helmsley doesn't even care about it. He just wants to play superstar. What's a quick way to lose all your viewers and turn people away in droves and make your product completely suck? Just parade Hunter Hearst Helmsley out there every single week. He's probably reliving the days that he wished he had back in the day when he was a pro wrestler and he could not get above John Cena. He could not get above Steve Austin. He could not get above The Rock. He could not get above The Undertaker. Now he gets to be the guy. 50 some odd years old with a gimmick in his chest, can barely fucking move. Physique is gone, all of that, but he gets to hear the music play and parade out there. Nobody cares at the top. Every move they're making, they will charge you more money and then turn around and act like it's a good thing for the fans. Great news! We're going to ESPN! You guys will now pay $30 in the States for a PLE. And when fans confront Nick Khan, this happened, true story, at Universal Studios. A fan addressed Nick Khan while they were waiting in line for the Wyatt house, the haunted house, and he said, like, yeah, we can't afford the tickets anymore. They're so expensive. And Nick Khan said, I think they're too low. I don't think they're expensive enough. That's what he told his fan. You talk about being tone deaf. And then he realized that nobody was laughing. So Nick Khan's like, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. He never had a response after that. Just, I hear you. I see where you're coming from. No response. He's basically saying, you got to see where we're coming from. We're taking all your money, dude. We're taking it all. You will pay that $30. You'll pay 3 times the amount for the PLEs at home. If you want to go to a show, you're going to pay 25 times what it was just 5 years ago. You're going to do it, you're going to like it, or you're not a real fan. Helmsley told you that. In fact, he told you to fuck off if you're trying to tell them how to do things better. They don't care. You guys heard what COO Mark Shapiro said of TKO. This is what I mean. They are blazingly they are flaunting their arrogance. They're flaunting their greediness because they know there's so many WWE fans that'll take it all and worship these people. Put them up on pedestals. Helmsley's so creative. Oh, Nick Khan and Shapiro, thank you for saving world wrestling entertainment. Meanwhile, Shapiro literally said Vince McMahon was too concerned about pricing for families. In other words, Vince was too focused on making sure that the audience could afford to get into the arenas for the shows. He said he didn't maximize those avenues. In other words, what we're doing is we know that a lot of that audience will pay a lot more, so we're going to maximize the amount. He told you don't blame Ticketmaster or anybody else. We're doing this. We're setting the market, then we're blaming it on the market. Mark Shapiro said Vince made it affordable for everybody. We are not, because we can maximize it. There's going to be enough people that will pay $10,000, $70,000 for a seat. We'll call it a VIP package. You can take home the stupid little silly foldable chair. We'll give you a lanyard. We'll have some stupid little pre-party that a wrestler or two will show up to. You'll get to leave and enter through a little entrance, a side entrance, so it makes you feel special, and you'll give us $70,000. Because we called it a VIP package. Mark Shapiro said Vince Vince catered and set prices for the average person so that they could go to the show. We are going to make sure that that's not the case. We're going to maximize what we are charging. They're not even hiding it. If the product was truly the best it's ever been, and the storylines are leave you on the edge of your seat, cliffhangers at the end of every show, superstars that are larger than life, that rival Steve Austin or even Hulk Hogan or John Cena. Samuel Zayn is out there in main events. Jason Uso. Big Jim, medium-sized Jim Uso. Tag team guys that we've seen for 15 years. Bronson Reed. With his 2 bad knees, that's why he can't even do tsunamis anymore. He changed his finisher to a jagged edge. Bronson and his bad knees. This is the product. Penta. Every week out there having wrestling matches that nobody cares. Nobody cares. And they're charging more than ever. Nobody seems to care about the product. They're liquidating everything that Vince built, which is how they're making all of this money. It's not Hunter Hearst Helmsley. What has Hunter done in 3 years? Nothing. The product is worse than it's ever been. They took everything that Vince built, and now they're just liquidating it. And it's pretty clear with this billions in buyback plan. This is a plan. It's not just like, I don't know. They have a strategic plan, and there's already been talk about taking it completely private. The whole thing, because parts of Silver Lake already are. And then when you do that, man, it's you can skip so many legal thresholds if Saudi just wants to purchase if you're not public. I mean, everything they're doing is just screaming like it's for every penny. So when Saudi comes knocking with some extraordinarily a price point of what they want to pay, you think you think Silver Lake is going to go, no, we don't want to sell. I believe they're already in some type of talks. I really do. And TNA is being purchased by, I believe, Vince McMahon. If Vince is not a part of the Saudi buyback, for Vince it would be a buyback. If Vince is not a part of this WWE transition to Saudi, because Vince has a new company. It's a conglomerate company that is going to have a bunch of, it's going to be the umbrella of a bunch of different sporting companies and even some Hollywood endeavors too, I believe. I don't know if he's going to dab back into movies. But I believe you're going to probably see some boxing, which, TKO just linked up with Saudi for their boxing thing. We heard that Vince wanted to dab into that. If you guys don't think there's going to be a wrestling promotion in Vince's new company, of course there is. What's a very entry-level, low-cost project? TNA Wrestling. Oh, gee, recently, WWE has this new partnership with TNA out of nowhere. Oh, they just switched management. Here comes Carlos Silva. Is that his name? Yeah. Carlos. People are being let go. It's a new team coming in. Interesting. Same time that Vince starts this company. Vince is waiting for these legal woes to get cleared up, and you're going to hear TNA is going to be purchased by Vince McMahon. Who knows if Saudi purchases TNA, and Vince is a part of it. At this point, you want a hot take? If Vince is a part of it, I don't know how much I'm going to. The Saudi thing would be wild to me. But Vince running the business of it, I would prefer that over TKO right now. I would prefer it over Saudi solely. Silver Lake. Because maybe Vince will take this back a notch or two and go, hold on, we're getting rid of all these advertisements on this fucking ring. If I'm a part of this, we are taking these damn advertisements off. This is clunky. It looks like a junkyard. It is trashing what I've created. And I think Vince would absolutely take those advertisements off. He hated that. That's why you never saw it. I think Vince would absolutely make sure that the prices went down. Because Vince knows this is not how you sustain business long term. There's no way you can sustain it. Credit cards are going to be maxed out, and you've already dwindled down your fan base. There's basically no casuals anymore. So when who's left is already maxed out on credit cards, good luck. They can't even sell out globally. For the first year when they were leaving the U.S., man, everybody was passionate and selling out because they're finally out of the U.S. Now they tried it again this year, and they can't even sell out Paris. That told 2 weeks, I think there was 2 legit sellouts, 2. This is... WWE today is no longer the WWE that most of us grew up with. We just have to face that. That's number one. Number two, what happens next is probably going to go even further than the WWE that we once knew. It's sad, man. I think a lot of us, because for Vince, the final couple of years for Vince McMahon in charge creatively for WWE, we were all pretty much saying he's got to step aside. And we were hoping that even if it's a conglomerate, right? TKO comes in, whatever. Endeavor was what it was known then, now Silver Lake. We were hoping that, okay, that'll get it back on track because Vince kind of lost sight of that. The horrible part, what we were hoping doesn't happen, is that this big company that comes in just treats it only like a bottom dollar business. And unfortunately, that's what happened. Saudi's going to buy WWE. That's the only, and I think this is, every move that's being made is clearly leading up do that. Guys, until next time, and there will be that next time. Unit, salute. Check you.